Looking up Rise of Skywalker, and it is a 58%. Oh, who didn't see this coming? Hey, what is going on, everybody? How are you all doing today? I hope you all are having a wonderful and fantastic day today, and if not, hopefully you all will have a better tomorrow. So, the Rise of Skywalker is getting those early reviews from critics, and whoa, want to talk about a fire. That is what is going on here. I mean, this is a trash fire, and it's so bad that critics are actually divided on this film. We're going to go over that today. But oh, it's bad. Like this is really bad. I mean, you can't trust critics today. You really can't. Usually when critics think something is bad, it's typically good. Now, when the critics think something is good, well, it's typically bad. This is why people don't trust critics. But with the Rise of Skywalker, it's already not looking good. So let's take a look at this article from Bounding Into Comics first. Both Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic have revealed their Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker critic scores. Rotten Tomatoes. As opening night approaches for Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, the Jar Jar Abrams film is sitting at 59%. Now, of course, it's dropped to 58, but at the time that this was written, it was 59%. It has an average rating of 6.46 out of 10. There are 65 fresh scores and 46 rotten scores from a 111 total reviews. That is not good. And as you can see here, at the time that this article was made, it is at 59%. So, early reviews from critics, mind you, critics, is already not looking good. I mean, this is Phantom Menace level of bad. And the Phantom Menace has bad reviews. So we're going to take a look at this as well. Here are the scores of all other Star Wars movies and television series. Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, at a 53%. Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, at a 65%. Episode 3, at an 80%. Episode 4, at a 93%. Episode 5, at 94%. Episode 6, at 82%. Episode 7, at 93%. Episode 8 at 91. Now remember, that's critics because it's at a 46% when it comes to, the actual audience score. But, yeah, 58. That's bad. You have, like, Rogue One, for example, 83%. A Star Wars Story, Solo, 70%. You have Star Wars Rebels, which is 100%. I really feel that that's kind of pushed there, but, Star Wars The Clone Wars, 94%, Star Wars Resistance, 92%, and The Mandalorian at 93%, which Mandalorian's doing really good. And, you already see The Rise of Skywalker at a 58% as of the recording of this video. And now, if you recall, earlier this year, Rotten Tomatoes changed everything over the whole Captain Marvel issue and things like that. So, of course, there was a lot of audience score when it came to reviews that were not taken in and considered, because they were going out deleting them. Also sending in bots to try to make things look better for many movies. Captain Marvel was one of them for sure. And, they also had tons of bots flooding in to try to save The Last Jedi. Because, let's be real, if anything divided Star Wars and just threw it down a garbage chute, it was The Last Jedi. The Last Jedi just tore things apart in terms of Star Wars, and I think that most Star Wars fans can agree to that, because that movie is just one hot mess. It is just a disaster. But here's something I want to bring up too, because we're going to look at the tweets of people, because there's a lot of damage control going around. But the first thing I want to bring up is that George Lucas, the creator of Star Wars himself, was not invited to the premiere of Rise of Skywalker. Now, this is a pretty bad thing to think about, because why not invite the creator? I mean, there's a lot of issues that went down considering Bob Iger and Kathleen Kennedy. I just think that this is just them just making it worse, because George Lucas, of all people, should have been invited. And I think it's insulting that there are some big-time celebrities here, obviously even the cast of Rise of Skywalker, but George Lucas should have been invited to this thing. So this is what the tweet had to say. George Lucas isn't at the Rise of Skywalker premiere. Reporters are speculated it's because of what Jar Jar and Iger did to him was intentional, and Jar Jar rewriting original trilogy Anakin arc is not approved by George. And there was a lot of things that happened with George Lucas that he did not agree with, that they treated him awful. They gave him the shaft before the creator himself to not be at a Star Wars premiere. That is just a horrible thing to happen, and I think it's insulting not just to George, but I think it's insulting to Star Wars fans in general. But, I mean, he did sell it to Disney, though, but even then, I still think that that's wrong they didn't invite him. So, let's take a look at these shills, because, oh boy, have they come out of the woodwork to already defend this movie.
Lot to take in with Rise of Skywalker. It is the big adventure, lightsaber adventure I hoped for. A few things I still wonder if it was necessary, but it was a very satisfying end to this new trilogy.
Yeah, here they come saying the good things about the movie because they still want to get into those Disney theme parks for free and early, get that early access, get into movies for free, premieres and things of that sort. Oh, yeah. Of course they're going to keep doing this stuff. And then one person responded to this guy and said, to be fair, getting hit by a car and dying as roadkill would be a satisfying ending to the Disney trilogy at this point. You couldn't be more correct with that statement. I agree, because this trilogy is just terrible. It's just horrible. And I could not agree with that statement more.
Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker reactions are in, and they are overwhelmingly positive but not perfect. Positives: epic, non-stop action, lots of fan service, immensely satisfying, very emotional, mixed, a bit convoluted, big changes in direction from episode 8.
Yeah, but it's Jar Jar Abrams writing the film, so it's not going to be good changes. The Rise of Skywalker can only have been rumored to Rian Johnson if they had motion smoothed it. Yeah, here's the thing. You're going to have people come out here, and they're going to protect The Last Jedi still. Of course, they can't accept The Last Jedi being seen as a terrible movie. They're going to keep doing it. That movie is garbage, and everybody should know it. But, The Rise of Skywalker, for some critics, is probably going to be an issue because it's not like The Last Jedi where it had their political agenda themes in it that they would have wanted. But, a lot of them are also going to still blame the fans because of fan service. Because, apparently critics like to blame fans because they have fan service also. So, take a look at this one, though. This was interesting. There is good in Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker, but there is more that is disappointing. There are a number of choices that just don't track, fan service that doesn't work, and ignore details that are missed. I'm bummed. Yeah. Oh, yeah. See, this is where the critics are starting to actually get divided on what you're going to see, because, while you see some of them coming out, and they're going to just try to protect Star Wars, you're going to see some reviews here and some opinions from critics that are differing, surprisingly enough, despite how all the critics flocked to The Last Jedi, tried to protect it, said the fans were what ruined Star Wars. But now, the critics are starting to understand our perspective as fans when we got done watching The Last Jedi, when we saw that terrible, abysmal film.
The Rise of Skywalker is everything I wanted it to be because there's never been a Star Wars movie like this before. It's a dark and scary, but hopeful and beautiful. It ends the trilogy while also ending the saga as a whole. I know I'm rambling, but I worship this movie.
Ooh, that's rough, especially with how bad this movie is seeming to shape up.
The Rise of Skywalker, really awesome. The best of the new trilogy. Really fun. Lots of humor, a big heart, so many surprises. It's everything Star Wars fans are hoping for and more. A very satisfying conclusion. A lot of fan service, but I loved it.
Ugh. So much damage control here. So much, because they're going to keep saying things. Oh, and here's something from Lunatic.
The spoilers, I cried, and The Rise of Skywalker has the best no-sex love scene I've seen in a long while.
Yeah, I guess this explains why your Charlie's Angels film failed. Just saying. Just got done watching Star Wars Rise of Skywalker, and all I can say is wow, wow, and wow! It pays homage to all of the films and does a great job of wrapping up this epic story. Phenomenal in every way. Oh man, this stuff is killing me. It's so bad. Because you know that they are jumping out just to try to protect Star Wars. You know this is exactly what it is. It's just, I mean, you look at the critic score over here already. It's not looking good, and then you have these people just jumping in still. It's just so sad. I mean, there's just so many of these that are just so humorous. Another one I thought was really funny was this one.
All I can say is, wow! Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is many things. Horrifying, hopeful, violent, lousy, horny, and full of the right kind of fan service. But most of all, it's a fitting ending to this incredible 40-plus year long saga.
Oh god. It's so like oh this kills me. This stuff is so dumb. And you know why they're doing it. You know exactly why they're doing it. They're just trying to get anything they can with credibility points from Disney. You know exactly what it is. And I have to give this to Doomcock because he was the one that was relaying the leaks, which don't worry, we won't spoil anything here. But he was the one who had a source that was giving him information on the leaks, and the leaks turned out to be true. And there were so many people out there. There were articles being written about Doomcock trying to just ruin the man's reputation. And guess what? They were wrong, Doomcock was right. And they never should have tried to tarnish his name, but to try to protect Star Wars and Disney, they tried to ruin Doomcock. And for that, I say shame on those people who tried to ruin his reputation. But this is what he had to say. It's looking like a lot of the leaks I reported about Rise of Skywalker were accurate. Let this be a lesson to the shills. I don't lie. If I say I received a leak, I did. It could be false. It could be a deception. But I damn well did get it. And calling me a liar is itself a lie. You couldn't be more truthful there, Doomcock. You couldn't be more truthful. But he did also point something out, which I found to be hilarious. So Scott Mendelson, now some of you may know who this is, some of you may not. For those of you who do not know, Scott Mendelson has been a firm defender of The Last Jedi for the past 2 years now, writing several articles about how Star Wars fans were the problem, that The Last Jedi is a beautiful film in his opinion. And apparently, he was invited to the showing of The Rise of Skywalker, and he apparently did not like it at all. At worst, I expected The Rise of Skywalker to be a well-made movie that I didn't like or whose story choices I disagreed with. I was not expecting a genuinely bad movie with video game plotting, thin characters, weak action, and endless exposition of no consequence. Heartbreaking. Well, you know, I'll tell you this. What we've gotten out of Star Wars as of recent with this trilogy has been heartbreaking. You know, I didn't like The Force Awakens, and I still don't like that movie. I hate that movie to this very day. I hate The Last Jedi. I never watched Solo, and I'm not going to. But The Rise of Skywalker, I could have already told you was going to be a mess. With the way the trilogy was shaping up, it was pretty obvious. The only, at least acceptable movie was Rogue One. The only one. Scott Mendelson had to go back to blaming the fans. So The Rise of Skywalker in the end, it was Star Wars fans that killed Star Wars. So he's blaming the fans already, yet again, which he's been doing for the past 2 years, but he's continuing this. So one person say, can you say something that makes sense? And he says, it's a bad movie. Now, when he says that, he's referring to The Rise of Skywalker. He's referring to it being a bad movie. But that's not all, because he's already written out his review for The Rise of Skywalker. This is what he had to say in this. Review, Rise of Skywalker is the worst Star Wars movie ever. The Rise of Skywalker is a bad movie and a miserable finale that serves no purpose other than to reassure adult fans of the original Star Wars that they are still the chosen ones of the pop culture galaxy. Now, there's never anything wrong with fan service. In fact, as many of you know, I have defended fan service. And I will sit here and say that fan service is a good thing. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with throwing that out there for your fans to enjoy. I mean, fan service is a good thing. Given the loud and SEO-friendly backlash to Star Wars The Last Jedi, I half expected The Rise of Skywalker to be something of a walk back in terms of tone, plot, and exposition. After all, The Empire Strikes Back was itself a dramatic departure from Star Wars, and it was followed by a threequel, Return of the Jedi, that was closer in spirit to the first movie. What I was expecting at worst was a well-made and character-driven action fantasy that perhaps contained plot threads or story beats for which I didn't care. You can enjoy both Batman Returns and Batman Forever. Oh, now this is the funny thing, because he defended The Last Jedi so hard, and now he is just utterly disappointed with The Rise of Skywalker. Oh, the irony, am I right? And there are a lot of critics out there. This is not the only review out there that critics are not pleased. There are many out there that they're already saying they don't like this movie. And what this is going to do is this is going to set in stone ticket sales, because, you know, some people may be uninterested or may not even want to go to the film. I mean, I can tell you right now, I'm not interested in this movie whatsoever. I am nowhere close to it. I know what the leaks are as well, and my God, this is like terribly written fan fiction. I mean, it's so bad. It really is. It's terrible, and I don't want to see this movie. But this itself is going to set it in stone. I mean, multiple articles are out there, and seeing that this is already a 58 on Rotten Tomatoes, this is not a good sign for the movie. And, you know, that's the thing. If you even look at the prequel saga didn't even divide fans as much as Disney Star Wars has. Disney Star Wars has been the biggest thing to have ever divided the Star Wars community. And, you know, I never liked The Force Awakens. I hated that movie from day one. And to me, it just felt like it was unoriginal. It felt like it just stole ideas from New Hope. And that's all it felt like to me. And it destroyed characters like Han Solo. And I just didn't care. The Last Jedi made things worse. And, you know, you have Solo, a Soy War story. Nobody cared about that. Nobody wanted that movie. You know, Disney doesn't understand its audience. I mean, the real thing that they have going for them is The Mandalorian. And that show, from what I have heard, now I haven't watched it, but from what I've heard, there are great things going on with that show. And this really tells you that maybe Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, maybe they should be the ones to take the helm of Star Wars at this point, you know? And I wouldn't disagree with that, because Dave Filoni has done some pretty cool things in terms of taking stuff from the expanded universe and putting it in. He's taken the best things and put it into the Clone Wars TV show. You know, so looking at it like that, they should be the ones that should take over Star Wars, I think. I think that would be the best thing to do, and have Kathleen Kennedy retire, because she clearly doesn't understand Star Wars or the fan base whatsoever. And have Filoni or Favreau work on future projects, because they know what they're doing. But in terms of Disney, you know, they just want to get past the sequel saga. You can definitely tell what they do. And this is the thing, though. It will forever be remembered. It will forever be known that Disney did destroy Star Wars. And this is not a good look for Disney in the end. But anyways, let me know what you think about this entire situation down below. Share the video, spread the word. It's greatly appreciated. It really helps out the channel a lot. Thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. And if you did enjoy, hit the video with a like. Subscribe if you're new here. And make sure you're still subscribed. Follow me on Discord. The link is in the description down below. And I hope you all have yourselves a wonderful and fantastic day today. And remember, if today was not a good day, tomorrow could always be better. Take care of yourselves and everyone around you. And have yourselves a good one out there, everybody.